I mean, dude, we did hundreds of thousands of dollars in testimonials in the first couple of months, and people were selling these passes to each other for thousands of dollars. Seeing that kind of revenue hit my account in 30 minutes from something that was an idea 3 weeks ago, while my net worth was like, I don't want to stake it on some big fucking platform, and then the platform goes bankrupt, and then I lose. Your friends are not helping you get towards your goal. Bro, people pay $60,000 a year to go to college.
Dude, 200 grand fucking
for what? 4 years. And if you want to be a high performing individual over long periods of time, you cannot do normal shit. Point blank period. I don't care what anyone says. You can't. And in that time, I went from, you know, like not knowing if it was gonna be profitable at all to making way more money than my current job was paying me, right? Welcome to episode 62 of New Money Talks.
You guys are fucking experts.
First take. First take.
Let's get it.
We got Thomas, aka Champ, in the house, in his house.
Yeah,
we won't dox you. We had some slips here and there.
Yeah, I move out in 3 days. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck this place.
Fuck, what
place?
Building?
The SLS Lux, worst building in Miami.
Damn.
Oh shit.
Starting off strong. Serial entrepreneur, got involved in a couple of different industries, but now you're kind of landing on a few. But you've been in crypto, you've been kind of in the coaching space, in a multitude of spaces. What's been your favorite business out of all the ones that you've built so far? I know it's only been like an 18-20 month journey, but
my newest one, my current one, because it aligns the most with my passion, right? And the business model is essentially just live out my purpose, document it, attract people who are interested in similar industries, and help them achieve the same things, right? So I love what I do now because I get to essentially just live as healthy, productive, and profitable of a life as possible, document the process, and build businesses that are designed to help other people follow that same journey, right? So, and that's what my content is about.
Oh yeah.
So it's great because I get to just like literally live the life of my dreams and build businesses out of helping other people do that. So it's great.
That's the cool thing about a personal brand is like you get to document it, and it's like you're almost selling yourself. So as long as you're building skills along the way, and as long as people want to become who kind of you are, you're paving the path for them. You'll always have an opportunity to profit, but also like prosper.
100%. Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
How are you not a glitch?
I am a glitch. I'm glitch. I don't know what my glitch number is. It's pretty low. Bro, shout out to Luke doing an amazing job at Capital Club. Good friends of mine. I am a glitch. That's just
fantastic.
It's not my company, bro. It's not, they're doing fine at Capital Club without me, bro. They're doing just fine.
I'm curious. So like you're pretty connected in this whole space, this whole like Miami e-commerce online world in a sense. Did you think you'd be here when you were just a boy in fucking Oklahoma?
Dude, not at all. People from where I'm from don't do this, right? Like everybody where I'm from goes from high school to college, goes and gets, you know, like a 4-year business degree, or, you know, maybe they decide to become a doctor or a dentist or something. They graduate, get married to their high school sweetheart, start having kids, 9-to-5 job for 40, 50 years, retire. By that time, their then kids are doing the same thing in college. And it's just sort of like this endless cycle. And I don't mean to belittle anybody who, you know, like that's their dream life. If that is what you want to do, then it is well within your right, and it's your prerogative to pursue that. But that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something bigger. So did I think I would be here? I felt since I was a little kid that I would do something different. Growing up, I actually always wanted all of my idols were rock stars, actually, like guitar players and all of my favorite bands. So I always wanted to have an audience, but I didn't know it would look like this, you know?
100%. That's cool. Talk about how you started, because I know like your start was just kind of insane in a sense.
Yeah, like
you made a bunch quick.
So how I started in online business. Like
online business, like talk about like when you got fired from your job and all this type of stuff. All right, cool. I think that's a good story.
So I have to sort of lay the context, right? Because Okay. Whenever I was growing up as a kid, I was a very musically inclined child, right? I play a lot of instruments. I was in choir. Okay. I'm a singer. I like writing music. I'm a multi-instrumentalist. Not like exceptional at any of them, but...
You're good.
Yeah, good. Because I spent my childhood doing it, right? So whenever I was in college, I decided that I wanted to start doing music, right? It actually had been a dream of mine like my entire life. But I had kind of, like when I was a kid, I used to record songs in GarageBand, I'd kind of given up on it. You know, I went to college, was in a fraternity, was involved in all types of on-campus stuff, was doing school, all that stuff, right? And then when I was a junior in college, I was like, dude, you know what? I want to start doing music again. And the reason why I hadn't been doing it is because I was like afraid of what everyone would think, right? It was like not, I was at a college in like a southern state that was not normal. I knew I was going to get made fun of for it because it wasn't going to like pop off immediately, but I was like, fuck it. Like, this is my passion. I'm going to start doing it. So I started doing it. And I did start to gain, you know, an audience online, not nearly like the size or the magnitude of what ended up happening a few years later, but, you know, like thousands of people, right? Like a couple songs did like 100 to 500,000 on streaming services. So like small, but like...
What kind of music was this?
Like pop rap music, basically.
No country stuff?
It's under the same name that I have now. If you look me up on Spotify, you find me, bro. I'll show you after this.
What's your Spotify?
I'll show you after this. But the point is that was like my first experience growing an online audience, right? And while I never got that far, I did begin to grow like a sort of like loyal core fan base. And at the same time, I was traveling around to different cities. Okay. So my friends were all going out and partying every single weekend. I'm getting in my truck and driving to the sort of all the nearest states to go do shows for like 10, 20 people, dude. I'm paying them to let me perform for like 10 people.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it was a grind, dude, and of course I didn't know if it was ever gonna work, but I still felt like I had time, you know what I mean? Because I was like a kid, whatever. And what's funny is at this time I got introduced to somebody who a lot of people watching this video will probably be familiar with, a gentleman by the name of Brett Malinowski, aka the Brett Way, right? The reason I met Brett was because he was a music video director for a friend of mine that I like had a couple songs with. So I drove to Kansas City to shoot a video, and Brett was the music video director. And what's very funny is like, dude, Brett and I did not get along at all when we first met. Like we like had beef for like a year or two. Like I don't know why. We just like, he didn't like me. He thought I don't know what the problem was, dude. We did not get along. But long story short, we ended up sort of becoming friends down the line. And after I had graduated college, I got like a tech sales job. I was just selling database software at a big company. I moved to Austin. I was still doing music on the side, right? Which is kind of funny. You know, I had like my little 60,000 per year sales job, and then I was doing a little music online. I texted Brett and I was like, hey, I want to fly you out to Austin. I want to shoot a new music video. He was like, great. I love this song. I'll come out. Let's do it. I'll do it for free. I was like, okay, cool. I'll just get your travel. So he comes out. Yeah. And while he's here, the music video is still on YouTube. The song's called Up Yet. And at the beginning of the video, it's like directed by the Brett Way. Like it's still on YouTube.
That's sick.
It has like 15,000 views or something like that. It's like, anyways, it's classic. Okay. While he was here, he was like, dude, because he knew that I had been in the crypto space since the first bull market, like for years and years. He was like, hey man, like I know you're into crypto. You should start really paying attention to NFTs. Like I've been, you know, trading this market. Like you should look into it. I was like, yeah, you know, I've been kind of looking into it, but I haven't actually really started, you know, I haven't bought any yet. Makes sense, but you know what? Like good idea. You know what? I think I will start paying attention. And the really amended version is that over the next 6 months, I started spending all of my free time trading these emerging like crypto adjacent markets, right? And in that time, I went from you know, like not knowing if it was going to be profitable at all, to making way more money than my current job was paying me, right? Trading this market that nobody understood.
What are you trading? It was like altcoins and shit?
All NFTs and altcoins, right? Like all the sort of, all the really like degenerate Web3 shit.
Garbage, yeah.
Yeah. For the most part, yeah. Most of it went to zero. I mean, shout out to, I mean, look at like, you could look at like what Luca's doing at Pudgy Penguins, like, and you know, there's projects that did well. Point is, it started to really heat up. Public interest that January was like really heating up. Okay, you know, Jimmy Fallon's buying Bored Ape, Justin Bieber's, you know what I mean? Like my mom's calling me like, hey honey, what are these crypto things? I'm like, wow, you know, it seems like a lot of people are interested in this right now. Well, I've spent the last month building a skill set around this industry that everyone wants to make money in right now, but nobody understands. At the same time, Brett is calling me. He's like, hey dude, you need to start making YouTube videos. Like, you know, like I could, I'll give you advice. I'll help you out. I was like, okay, cool. So the first week of that January, I started posting YouTube videos and tweets about just like, hey, these are the trades that I'm making, right? And my first YouTube video got like 100 views, and then like the second one got like 100 views, and the third one got like 6,000. And my channel just started to explode. Literally like overnight. I woke up on a Sunday and I was like, oh my God, it's happening. I woke up, I had gained like 2,000 followers overnight, and my YouTube video had like started popping off, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening. And at that moment, I started tweeting every day, like fucking 10 times a day during my job. I was working from home every day. I'm like, other than getting on calls in the morning and night, and like closing sales calls, all that I was doing, I'm recording a YouTube video, I'm editing it, I'm posting it.
What are you putting in these YouTube videos? What the fuck are you talking about?
I was literally just recording my screen, showing different trades that I was making.
Crypto, yeah.
And my face in a
little corner?
In a little corner, like on OBS on a terrible MacBook. The quality was horrible. These videos were popping off.
Damn. Do you know why? Do you have any reason or rhyme why?
Because I just positioned myself properly, right? So there was a shortage of people who were actually knowledgeable that were creating content on this subject right now. And I was well positioned because I had spent the last 6 months learning this skill set that not very many people had. Not many people understood this market, right? So think about like whenever drop shipping first became a really big deal, the like few YouTubers who were already like really, really deep into the space and could create videos about it.
They're gonna pop off easy, yeah.
They're good for life, basically, right? Like look at somebody like Jordan, right? Or like Sebastian.
Yeah,
guys,
right? Sebastian figured it out early.
Like it's game over. Like they're good.
Yeah.
Point is, 3 weeks after I posted my first YouTube video, I launched the business on that sign right there. It was called Champs Only. We sold 1,444 one-year access passes to Champs Only, which was literally just a Discord that I was running, posting my trades every day. It was more than that. We put a bunch of tools in there and stuff. Yeah. It's a good offer. Like we still run it.
Yeah, that's not expensive in hindsight to learn the shit that you probably taught people.
Yeah. So exactly, like less than significantly less than $100 a month for access. It makes sense, right? Dude, we did hundreds of thousands of dollars in testimonials in the first couple of months, and people were selling these passes to each other for thousands of dollars the next day.
So it was like a fake NFT, pretty much.
No, it was an NFT project.
Oh, it wasn't an NFT project.
Now it's an NFT project, but it was like it was completely utility based. It's like.
You get the NFT and you get access.
Up front, it's a 1-year access pass. If you don't want it anymore, sell it to someone else.
Oh shit!
Does that give the person they sell it to only the remainder of the membership?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Right, but the point is, we sold 1,444 of these 1-year passes for about $700 on January 21st. That was a Friday. So, you can imagine how that goes, right? Like so you can do the math in your head. That's not top line profit because then we have to run this business and give everybody value. But still, seeing that kind of revenue,
you're doing all right.
Seeing that kind of revenue hit my account in 30 minutes from something that was an idea 3 weeks ago, while my net worth was like $4,000, was like
it's nuts.
Oh,
this is possible.
Yeah. I was like, I should probably quit this job. And then that was on a Friday. And on a Monday, my boss actually put time on my calendar because he had found out either from one of my coworkers. I mean, this was public information, bro.
Yeah.
This is public information. Like, I was
Seriously.
literally making YouTube videos and tweeting about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All sold out. So he was like, I thought he was going to be.
What's up, New Money Talks fam? As most of you may know, how you handle your supply chain and your inventory management as an e-commerce brand or a 3PL can make or break your business. Inventory management can be extremely tedious and daunting, and that's why there's tons of different solutions to help simplify this process. However, none of them come close to what Info Plus has to offer. Info Plus is an all-in-one warehouse management tool that helps you streamline your warehouse operations and automate processes to save time, reduce errors, and elevate your inventory management. Info Plus can help you increase order accuracy to over 99% and help boost on-time shipping rates to over 99% with centralized workflows, real-time inventory tracking, order prioritization, and automated shipping processes. And their awesome customer support team is there to help you configure everything in a way that is specifically tailored for your business's unique operational needs. Info Plus also has hundreds of shopping cart integrations, exclusive carrier connections, and effortlessly syncs data with other platforms using their open API. Info Plus is trusted by some of the world's leading e-commerce brands such as Walmart, Amazon, and eBay. So click the link below and check out Info Plus today to level up your warehouse management operations. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Mad. My boss was not mad. He was, as a matter of fact, was like, dude, amazing job. Congratulations. Quit this job right now or I will fire you. Good luck. Amazing work. I was like, okay, cool. So I quit my job. I spent the next year delivering as much value to that community as possible. I think we did that successfully because we had hundreds and hundreds of them return the next year to resubscribe, and we turned into a subscription-based business, which still exists.
Nice.
Yeah. And in that time period of building out that business, I've also evolved a lot, right? I no longer create, while I will always be like actively investing in crypto. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually on the board of advisors for a couple of projects that will launch in the next 6 to 8 months that I think will do very, very well. While I'm like sort of working behind the scenes on a strategic front with teams that I like my content, my personal brand has largely shifted, as have my interests. And yeah, now I'm working on a second business. The name of that is Off the Grid. We have a number of different offers, and we're about to launch a new one as well. Just had an event here in Miami last weekend that went swimmingly. Colin actually spoke at that event. We had a 90-foot yacht, a bunch of steaks, and it was great.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I do kind of something totally different now, but that all that is like an important part of my origin story,
100%.
How does one sell 1,400 NFTs? Like, what does the marketing behind that look like?
The reason why I really don't think it matters that they were NFTs. We could have just
It could have been like
memberships.
Yeah.
Discord accounts.
That's a crazy launch though. Like for any product, any service, any company.
Yeah, man. Like it's all about timing and positioning, right? Like this will happen again. Like NFTs were not the only, every year something new happens, right? I don't know, how did Andrew Tate start a Discord that did over $10 million profit per month by posting TikToks, right? Like every year there are these different waves of public interest, right? And the people who win the biggest are the people who can position themselves ahead of time where interest and money is going to flow, right?
But in a sense, you didn't really know that crypto's going to be as big as it is. And
No.
You didn't build out that following on purpose.
No, I was just doing something that I found really interesting that I was good at.
Question though, how big is the audience?
At that time when I launched?
Yeah.
At that time, like across like your social
Dude, I only had like
accounts.
20,000 followers on Twitter. It was
So
like,
Twitter was your main channel.
yeah, but you have to understand how meteoric interest was around this at the time. It was like the very peak of interest, right? And this will happen again
No, 100%.
with other things. And
it's also crazy because Colin was at a job too, just like yours.
Yeah.
And the same fucking thing happened to him too. His boss saw him like on social media and just fired him, type of thing.
yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Everyone does sales jobs at a big corporate company, and then
I didn't even make it a year, dude. I made it 364 days. My last day was my 364th
Look at
day.
that.
But what I was gonna say is like the industry is kind of irrelevant, and you know the businesses that I'm building now are evergreen and are about just providing value to people on a holistic front, right? Entrepreneurs who are trying to not only make more money online, but are trying to increase their health, their productivity, and just be in a network of really elite.
Have you haven't launched this one? You have launched this one?
No, we
so soft launch.
Yeah, so we launched our Inner Circle offer. So we did 50 spots of an Inner Circle offer, which is weekly coaching calls with myself, like small group. It's like a true digital mastermind. So mastermind calls with me on a weekly basis. I bring in guest speakers from different industries on a weekly basis, all of whom have scaled their businesses past $100,000 per month for presentations and direct Q&A sessions. I do a bunch of exclusive content. They get access to super powerful trading algo. But this was like our highest ticket offer. So I essentially just did a proof of concept for this offer. And it was very interesting because, you know, it was like a high ticket offer. So it was a few $1,000s for a couple months of access. And of course, like I was very confident about my ability to positively impact all these people's journeys, who wanted to continue to grow their businesses, who wanted to level up online. But like, I didn't know exactly how well it was going to work out. And, dude, we already had over half of those people renew for another 3-month cohort. And the amount of testimonials that I've gotten about just like the level of impact has been astounding, right? Which really goes to show, I think a lot of people get hung up on trying to like, oh, I have to, once I do this, or once I do this, then I can try and start helping people. But the reality is that like you get from A to B, and then when you get to B, all you can think about is trying to get to C. But the reality is that when you were back at A, you would have fucking killed to be where you are now at B, right? But you jump out of the smaller pond into the bigger pond and you forget where you started. So I'm a firm believer in the idea that like everybody has value to bring to the world. And what I'm doing now is just largely about, like I said, like building businesses centered around the idea of just continuing to be as forthcoming as possible with my journey of how I am building wealth, how I am building my businesses, how I am building myself, how I've transformed my body and my health and my mind over the past year or so, and sharing that with people who are interested in doing the same, right? Like that is the people with whom I want to work, and they're great customers, right? Mm-hmm. And they bring me value as well. So we have that Inner Circle offer. We were going to launch applications for it again, but it's looking like we probably won't even be able to launch applications because a lot of people opted back in. And I posted an Instagram story yesterday, and a bunch of people DM'd me about it yesterday. So I think we'll probably fill that up via word of mouth, or just people who DM me on, some people just know about it. And like if someone DMs me on Instagram and asks about it, I'll gladly like interview them for it. But what I'm doing right now is building out something new with a bunch of people, like guys that you know here in Miami. I mentioned Luke Alexander, Cardinal Mason, Flips for Miles. I'm essentially assembling the Avengers to build out what I believe is, no, seriously, like far and away, the best educational package that anyone has assembled for aspiring entrepreneurs, because the vast majority of my audience is people who are between, 18 and 30, who really have high aspirations, or high drive individuals, want to get better, want to make more money, want to start a business online, but are trying to go from, 0 to 1, right? And then we have the Inner Circle for those people who get there and want to start moving faster.
So you're talking like copywriting, crypto, like sales, this type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I can't say like I'll announce this all in like the next 2 weeks. I announce this all in the next 2 weeks, but and I'm not trying to turn this podcast into an advertisement for
not at all.
But the point is that I've gotten a lot of the smartest and most profitable people in the entire internet money space together to build what I think is just going to be the most effective educational package for someone trying to figure out their direction.
I have a question for you. So like when you work with this many people, like how many people are on this project in a sense?
6.
That's funny because we were just talking to somebody else who they merged 2 agencies, and it was 6 founders, and it went to a shit show.
Just because a lot of people involved.
I'm curious, with a lot of people involved, how do you guys like stay on the same page and really push to that?
I only work with people that I trust, and there also is like a clear delineation that it is my product being built under like the umbrella of my roof, and I'm forming partnership agreements with these individuals to help us build things out, and obviously making it make sense for them in return, right? So I never want anyone to be able to say about me that I did bad business.
Of course.
I never want anyone to leave any type of interaction with me feeling like I cheated them or, took some type of, lion's share that I shouldn't have, or that they didn't have a good experience with me. So I think just being cognizant of that, and just working with people that you like, right? Like, people have this limiting mindset wherein they think that people have this scarcity mindset where they think that if someone else wins, I can't win, right? Where it's like, oh, this guy's my competitor, I could never team up with him, he's going to take sales away from me. Where the reality is that, dude, the internet is so big that we can all help each other. There's more than enough business for everybody involved. And if you would just stop being fucking selfish and stop having these limiting beliefs that convince you that you can't win if other people are winning too, you could just team up and everybody makes money, and then everybody has more fun, and then you help more people, right? Yeah. So like, that's the ethos with which I operate, and I would never even want it to come to a spot or there having to be conflict, because if that's the case, then I'm just like, you can just have it. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, there's more than enough.
I feel like there's a lot of like selfishness, a lot of like these people online, stuff like that. But like, you are right. When people do come together, it just gets a lot, like the pie just grows in a sense, right?
Yeah.
I want mentality.
Yeah. Listen, dude, one of my biggest takeaways is I want smaller pieces of a bigger pie, right? Like, they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? So you have to ditch this mindset that there's a finite amount of resources that everyone is fighting over, and understand that there's a multiplicative effect of working together that is going to create a more bountiful outcome for everybody involved.
Definitely. I don't know if you made that word up or if it's fucking real.
Which word?
Multiplicative.
Multiplicative? I think that's a real word.
I get what it means though, but
no, it definitely is.
I think it's a real word.
Sorry.
It's okay.
What's up with you and this this
tea
stuff?
This is my potion.
Question:
bro.
When you drink this shit, do you get the leaves like in the straw? Like, how did the leaves not go?
Bro,
in the
you think I'm
straw?
drinking leaves?
Like,
no.
It just gets infused.
No. So it's
there's like a pocket where the water goes in there.
It's called yerba mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
It's like some type of tea from Brazil or some shit.
Yeah,
no?
it's called yerba mate. It's a naturally occurring shredded leaf that has a higher caffeine content than most types of teas. You drink it loose leaf in what's called a gourd. I like to mix in, there's goji berries in here, dried goji berries. I put mint in here, a little bit of honey. You can put all types of stuff in here. I like it because, and people don't realize this, people think that if I drink tea or I drink coffee or I drink an energy drink, they all have caffeine in them. They all make me feel the same, but that's not the case, right? And what people actually underrate is the effect of what you are consuming with your caffeine, right? So if I drink coffee or I drink yerba mate, even if they both have close to 80 milligrams of caffeine in them, I'm having a drastically different cognitive experience because of the accompanying compounds. And for that same reason, this is the reason why I supplement L-theanine. It's an amino acid. 200 milligrams per 100 milligrams of caffeine that I drink with coffee, because it massively impacts my ability to focus. So it's about sort of like picking my poison for what I'm trying to accomplish at that time. I get a different effect from caffeine delivered by yerba mate than I do from coffee, even if it's the same amount. And yeah, bro, I think people don't really understand that you can actually use caffeine as like a legitimate like hack to trigger flow state if you do it right.
Back to my question. How the fuck do you not drink the leaves? I don't get it.
The straw has a filter on the bottom.
Oh, it does?
It has tiny little holes.
I was about to say, because I was like, there's no way you're licking the leaves.
The straw's like a
berries.
spoon.
So what, you put the water on top?
Yeah. So you pour the leaves in there. Listen. So to brew a yerba mate potion.
By the way, if you drink this, your crypto trades are just like
through the roof.
Your P&L automatically multiplies.
Moon. To the moon.
So what happens is you put the leaves in here about 2/3 full. You shake it until you form a mound kind of sideways, so like a diagonal mound. You wet the lower side of it and use the straw to push over like a hole, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So there's like a hole in it, and then you can just fill that hole up with water like 10 or 20 times before the leaves go bad.
Oh,
right?
shit,
So that's like why you guys kept seeing me go back over there and put more water in it. But it's a good coffee alternative. It's very popular right now. It thanks in no small part to Luke and Nate Belmar being huge fans of it. I can actually credit.
What's up, New Money Talks fam? If you operate any type of business dealing with sending and receiving payments internationally, chances are you've probably experienced slow transaction speeds, high fees, and poor user experience with a multitude of different payment solutions. And we experienced these same challenges before we started using Payoneer. Payoneer is a secure and global payment platform that helps save up to 70% on international bank transfers and get paid faster, whether you're sending money to virtual assistants, employees, or doing B2B transactions. With Payoneer, you can not only send and receive payments globally, but also effortlessly manage payments and transactions with the help of their 24/7 support team by your side. Payoneer has facilitated secure international payments since 2005 and supports over 190 countries with over 70 plus accepted currencies. So you can definitely trust them as your payment platform. So go ahead and click the link below this video and try Payoneer for your next international payment to see how it goes for yourself. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Both of them for putting me on. I like it a lot.
You hang out with Luke. I think he's at a podcast, something like that together, right?
Yeah, he's been on the channel 3 times, dude.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I see Luke when he's in and out of Miami. He's a friend of mine. I've known him for actually a couple of years, and I knew him in a totally separate context. Actually, back whenever we were both just trading crypto, but
He was like the airbender or something like that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. Luke's been all over the place. Like Luke was
The asset blender.
was crushing ecom. He played Web3 very well. And now you see what he's doing with Capital Club, man. Like,
It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What stuff do I'm curious. A lot of people are probably curious what goes on in these rooms with like these high level people, like Luke Belmar, say like Colin, stuff like this. What are you guys talking about behind the scenes that like you see is the future of this like online world?
And that's different from what
that's
the
different from like the
talking
normal
about.
stuff the civilians talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many different things, but one thing that I would say, like one key takeaway that I would share with everybody watching this video is like, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that all of the highest level people operating in online business right now are growing personal brands, right? So we're talking about Luke right now. You guys were talking about Colin. Alex Hormozi is spending over $100,000 per month on content alone, right? How much money has Hormozi already made?
Hundreds of millions.
Okay, so do you think he would be investing that much money in growing personal brand if he did not think that was a 5 to 10 year play in the future of internet business?
No.
Exactly. So one key thing that I would say that is certainly not a coincidence is that in all of these rooms, we are constantly having conversations about business in the context of growing organic audiences, right? Okay. Capital Club, 200,000 person email list, okay? Hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, okay? $0 on paid traffic, right? Because they used a new distribution model powered by personal brand. Andrew Tate did the same thing. Sneeko just did the exact same thing. All of these guys, Hormozi did the same thing,
Hormozi's
right?
Fucking huge.
So if anything, like one key takeaway would be that like there's a new way to make money online. And I would actually argue this is the new way of making money online. And the notion of having or not having a personal brand as a successful business person is going to become obsolete. Like the term personal brand is going to become outdated, right? Like I truthfully think 5 years from now, the idea of being a successful business operator without having an online presence, a quote unquote personal brand is just not going to exist, right? Because you have to think in an increasingly digital environment, only more people are going to be on social media.
Makes sense.
Right? And more, this is news. Twitter or X, is news, right? Instagram is news. Reels and stories are ads, right? And I'm not saying that paid traffic is going to go away, but I just don't think that there's going to be a world wherein the highest level business operators aren't leveraging organic traffic as their primary lead source. It's just too bountiful right now. It's fucking insane, dude.
For people at that level too, like because I think it's so hard to like, you were saying like you were tweeting fucking every 10 minutes type of shit, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't do you still do that now?
No.
So like when you get higher, you make more money. I feel like you're like kind of, it's your time's worth more money in a sense, right?
Yes.
So how do people build a team around them and just like good people to do those things
without it taking away time from their actual businesses?
That's such a good question, dude. So I think that a mistake that a lot of people make actually is making their first bit of money and then just hiring like 10 people for no reason and having no idea. Like, because here's the thing, dude. If I make $1 million off of a business that only I personally run, right? And by the way, I'm speaking from experience right now. And then I just go hire 10 people because I'm like, well, now I have 10 employees. I won't have to do anything anymore. All I've done is just brought on 10 people that I have no idea how to train, that I'm paying for no reason. And I'm still going to have to do all of the work and pay all these people and then eventually fire them as well. Right. So
this is pretty much the NFT in a sense.
So what you need to be able to do, A, is fire faster than you hire, right?
Definitely.
You're doing somebody a disservice by keeping them around if you don't intend on continuing to have them around. And B, understand who to efficiently train people, right? You have to learn how to onboard employees. You have to learn how to train people. Just because you know how to do a task doesn't mean you know how to efficiently teach that task. And one of the smartest things I ever did as it pertains to being able to quickly scale out my businesses is get really diligent about building SOPs. And I'll tell you what I mean by this, right? I have a whole section on my Notion dashboard for SOPs. And this is for largely like mundane tasks, right? But I've gotten in the habit of recording everything I do on Loom and including a brief description, right? Anything that will have to be repeated in the future. So for example, I start the inner circle offer and I record our first mastermind call. Now I have to go on Google Drive, download that, re-upload it to Notion, properly title it and caption it in a way within our community dashboard where everyone could see it. So what do I do? Okay, I'm going to have to do this task again. Let me record a Loom and write a brief description of exactly how to do this. So that whenever I bring on either a VA or a full-time employee to do this task, instead of spending a week teaching them how to do all this stuff, I can say, hey, here's a collection of this Loom and 20 other Looms about the repetitive tasks you're going to have to do on a daily basis. Watch all of these and you're going to get up to speed way faster, right? So what you have to think about is like front loading the work of creating SOPs and creating like diligent documentation for how to run your business before you bring people on, so that when you bring them on, you don't have no idea how to like teach them what to do. And some of it comes with time as well. But to really answer your question, right? Like, which was, how do we bring on the right people? You have to eliminate ego and understand that if you want to get people who are as smart as you, who are as productive as you, and if you want them to perform well and have a vested interest in your company's success, they have to be heavily incentivized, right? So you have to let go of this idea of, oh, I'm going to get really good talent and only give up 10% of my revenue. Like, you're going to start splitting things very seriously. And one of the biggest mistakes I made was trying to bring on a bunch of people, but not give any equity. You know what I mean? Like, try and be, super. I just didn't do it right. You know what I mean? And you have to eliminate ego and understand that, like I said, if you want to go fast, go alone. So if you want to make money faster, you can do it all alone. But if you want to go further and shoot for that $100 million exit, you have to give up this notion of like, you're going to capture all the profit now, right?
Definitely.
It just, it can't happen.
Yeah. It's kind of like a little bit of nothing is better than a whole lot, or a whole lot of nothing is worse than a little bit of something.
Exactly.
Stumbling over my words. But so kind of like, let's say for our podcast, if you hire the wrong people, then you're risking, just because of costs, right? Like, you're hiring them cheaper. You don't want to give up equity. You're risking having more of a lot less profit than you are of giving away maybe a bigger chunk of a much larger amount of money.
Right. And what I'm suggesting to you is to make it as simple as possible. There are people watching this podcast who are trying to figure out how they are going to alone make a business that starts making them $10,000 per month, wherein they could get to that goal faster if they just took 1/3 of a business that did $30,000 a month by teaming up with 2 other smart people who would help cover the things that they are not good at. But people are egotistical. They want to do everything alone. They want to keep all the money for themselves, and they keep holding on to that until it's too late, dude. And they have to tear everything down and and that's a mistake that I made, dude.
Yeah, no, that's a good outlook. I think like even when we were building the podcast regarding what you were talking about with the SOPs, I personally think they're incredibly important. Anything that you think you're going to do more than once, so you're going to have to train someone for it, you might as well just record yourself doing it. And I also think it's important that you do the thing that you're going to outsource to some capacity. You don't have to be an expert at it, but to some capacity, you create that, the little training for them. That doesn't take too much work, but it's that little bit of heavy lifting up front to prevent you from having to babysit them for hours every single week for months.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree.
When do you think's the next like major bull market in this crypto world?
It's a bull market now, bro.
Is it?
Yeah,
nah, it's fucking not.
I mean,
and actually, what should people be doing before that? Because I think that's a big thing too.
The Bitcoin halving is coming up. Right?
Bitcoin what?
The Bitcoin halving.
Like you're splitting it?
Oh, it's splitting or something? What the fuck does that mean? Is it forking? Is it a fork?
It's the simplest way I can put it is it's just think of it this way. Like it's a reduction at which it's a reduction of the speed at which the circulating supply of Bitcoin is increased. So less Bitcoin.
That's happening.
Less Bitcoin.
Isn't it like 21 million? There's gonna be less than 21 million.
Like a fixed supply.
What'd you say?
Isn't there a fixed supply?
Yeah, so it's a decrease in the output of circulating supply of Bitcoin.
Okay.
The reason why the Bitcoin halving is important is because historically we've seen bull markets occur after the Bitcoin halving occurs, right? Now, what I would say to everyone watching this video is that anytime there is a general consensus about what is going to happen, it never happens. And if I go down on the street right now in Miami and I ask 10 SMMA owners, hey man, what's your plan for the next 2 years? Oh dude, I'm trying to cash flow right now. I'm gonna put it all in the crypto before the next bull market, and I'm gonna 10x it, and then I'm gonna be good. If that's everyone's fucking plan, it's not gonna happen, dude. The majority is never right? So I would be actually really foolish to get on camera and act like I had some sort of crystal ball and was like, here's the perfect strategy, right? And there are people who are maybe more qualified to do this, like Pintoshi. There's a gentleman by the name of Pintoshi on Twitter that I swear is like the most intelligent trader on the fucking planet. He's a little penguin PFP.
Shut up, Pintoshi.
You should go follow Pintoshi. He's a G. Point is, I think that, my expectation is 2024, 2025, we will top out. I have been averaging into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, into a couple of altcoins that I like, into some GameFi projects for the past year, while it felt really bad to be doing so, while the market was really boring, while nobody wanted to pay attention, for the express reason of the fact that like I do not know exactly when it's going to be up. But as I looked at these assets, as we look at Ethereum float around like $1,000, that entire time, the only thought process in my mind was like, well, maybe we keep going lower, right? But in my mind, like, what percentage chance do I think there is that in 2 or 3 years from now, this will be worth more than it is right now? And in my head, this is 100%.
Yeah.
So, and that's my personal bias. Some people think crypto will go to zero. Okay, cool. If that happens, then you can call me stupid, right?
100%.
But so I've been averaging into these assets. I'm not buying right now. I will continue buying if we see another big correction to the downside. It's very hard to know whether or not we are like entering a new bull market. I think it's really weird that they would announce the way they almost like announce this ETF and it kind of like encourage people to buy in beforehand, and like maybe they'll fake cancel it and liquidate all the longs and then accumulate more and then actually put out the ETF. I don't know, right? Like, and if I try and time the market, I'm going to be wrong every fucking time. So when the price goes down, I just buy it. And when the price goes up, I stop buying.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But what other altcoins do you look at too? Because I know you said you had a few altcoins. You like.
So I have a decent amount of Arbitrum right now. I begrudgingly bought some Solana as well. Whenever I didn't buy that much because I legitimately, I'm not gonna lie, like I was wrong about Solana. I legitimately thought Solana was gonna go to zero. I thought it was fucked. 100%.
Why? Why'd you think it was fucked?
What's up, New Money Talks fam? If you operate any type of business dealing with sending and receiving payments internationally, chances are you've probably experienced slow transaction speeds, high fees, and poor user experience with a multitude of different payment solutions. And we experienced these same challenges before we started using Payoneer. Payoneer is a secure and global payment platform that helps save up to 70% on international bank transfers and get paid faster, whether you're sending money to virtual assistants, employees, or doing B2B transactions. With Payoneer, you can not only send and receive payments globally, but also effortlessly manage payments and transactions with the help of their 24/7 support team by your side. Payoneer has facilitated secure international payments since 2005 and supports over 190 countries with over 70 plus accepted currencies. So you can definitely trust them as your payment platform. So go ahead and click the link below this video and try Payoneer for your next international payment to see how it goes for yourself. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Are you familiar with like the whole FTX situation?
Yeah,
What happened?
Yeah.
Because of the giant bag of Solana that
They had a lot of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for a variety of reasons. But I think it has a pretty strong narrative around it right now. If I could go back in time to the Solana lows, I would buy way more. I have a couple of like little GameFi projects that I don't really want to say publicly just because like, I mean, these are bags that could 100% go to zero or that could 100x, but I don't like
you don't want to be the
like,
zero
oh, you
guy.
told me to buy it. Like,
yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. And then I have a really big bag of ETH. I have a really big bag of Bitcoin. So
you like stake these things and all this type of shit too?
I just have them in
just like cold storage.
Cold storage right now. Listen, bro. I've seen so many people get wrecked staking these assets.
Yeah.
Or taking loans out against their asset. Like I just put
buying washes with the loans.
Maybe I could be making an extra, I don't know, a couple $1,000s or something a month if I was like staking my ETH, but I don't want to stake it on some big fucking platform and then the platform goes bankrupt and then I lose $500,000. You know what I mean? Like I'll take the risk of not staking.
I'm not taking the risk.
Yeah.
Kyle, what you got, bro?
So from going from broke to on your way to being incredibly successful, there was probably a lot of good habits that you had to accumulate and a lot of bad habits that you had to drop. To the average person, what are some bad habits that you see them having to kick?
Like to the average NPC, the average NPC.
Yeah. Oh, this would be my favorite part of the podcast. Okay, so let me be very clear about something. Whenever I first started making money on the internet, I got cocky. I thought I could do whatever I want. I thought I was eating like a normal person. I was going out. I was consuming alcohol often. I was doing all of this bullshit, right?
Haram.
I was very cocky, right? What happened? I burned out, right? Because I'm telling you, if the level that people watching this video want to operate at, it is impossible to do that over long periods of time without putting in a lot of extra work to maintain self, right? It just is, right? And people are gonna be like, oh, well, Alex Hormozi eats dessert every day. You know what else? Alex Hormozi was a fucking physical trainer before all of this. He was literally making his money teaching people how to be healthy. That shit is not a coincidence, bro. Oh, Warren Buffett eats McDonald's all the time. Bro, talking about McDonald's makes him money, right? And Warren Buffett is like 90 fucking years. How old is he?
He's like 90. Yeah.
Okay, so
like Coca-Cola and all that
yeah,
shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So first things first, disregard this fallacy that you can just do all the normal shit and make abnormal money. If you don't want to be like the 99%, if you want to be the 1%, you have to do shit that 99% of people aren't doing. It's not complicated. You just look at what the average person is doing and you stop fucking doing that. Okay. So bad habits that the average person needs to get rid of. First of all, the most productive thing that I ever did in my life was retire from fast food. Like retired. For the rest of my life, I will never eat fast food again. It will not happen. Why is this? Well, fast food is literally like an amalgamation of all of the things that you can put in your body that are going to most inhibit your ability to function at a high level, right? So if we sort of break that down, like what are these things that it's impacting and what am I trying to avoid in my life? Well, one of the most eye-opening things I ever did was start trying to reduce inflammation in my body. And this was a concept that I was always sort of familiar with. I have some people in my family who practice medicine, right? Like you guys can think about like if, when you go out and drink or whatever, you wake up the next morning, your face
feel
is
like
all
shit
swollen.
and puffy.
You look in the mirror, your body's all inflamed, right? Alcohol is a highly inflammatory substance, but there's a lot of things that cause inflammation in the body, right? So you need to stop eating not only just fast food, you need to stop eating shitty food in general, right? People, oh, Whole Foods is so expensive. Like I can't buy organic food, but it's literally bullshit. Like if you can afford it without going broke, you can fucking afford it, right? Out of everything in your entire life, the number one most important thing is what you are putting in your body, because that is subsequently what your entire body is made up of and what your brain uses to help you make decisions that determine you and everyone who comes after you in your family's future, right? So you have to abandon this notion that like food is part of your health. Food is your health, right? So you need to prioritize what you are eating. I personally eat a largely organic whole foods diet. I've converted to a low carb diet. People have their own preferences, right? I'm not here to tell everybody to go keto. What I am here to tell everybody is that whenever I started eating solely organic foods, largely grass-fed and finished animal proteins, I converted really my only source of carbs to fruits and vegetables. And I, at the same time, started fasting and eating all of my meals between 2 and 6 p.m. Not only did my life drastically change, not only did my productivity drastically change, not only did the way that I look drastically change, but I went home for what was the last big holiday? What was the last big holiday? Easter?
Maybe, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
4th of July.
A few months ago, I went home for a family holiday, and 3 different relatives of mine, unbeknownst to each other, all asked me like, "Hey, what are you doing? You look younger." Well. I've begun eating an anti-inflammatory diet and I stopped drinking, right? And this one's really going to ruffle some feathers, but you guys have to understand the importance of sleep, right? And I'll give you an example. The other day I was on a flight at like 5 a.m. I had to get up early and catch a flight. And I was working on this flight, I was like on the plane Wi-Fi, and something happened with my team that was not ideal, as happens all the time in business. But for some reason I was having a very emotional response. I was like really pissed off about it, right? And I begun to realize, I was like, oh, well, I did sleep like 4 hours last night. And then I was reflecting and I was like, this is how I used to feel a lot back when I was in high school, when I used to sleep like 6 hours every night. And I began to realize the profound impact that getting enough sleep has on my emotional ability to not be a little bitch when I face challenges, right? Like, if you are emotional, if you can't handle the challenges that life's throwing at you, you need to fix your fucking sleep. It's why I wear this ring. It's called an Aura ring. They don't sponsor me, but they fucking should, because like 50 different people have bought this ring because of me. And to circle back to the point of alcohol, here's why I love this ring, right? If this tells me all types of data about my sleep quality, right? It gives me a recovery score, my resting heart rate, my heart rate variability.
HRV.
Yeah. Which, as an aside, I found out that I have a super high HRV. Like,
that's good. Yeah.
I average like 120 a night.
Yeah.
And the point is, if I were to drink 1 glass of wine right now, what time is it? Like 4 o'clock? 3 o'clock?
3, yeah.
My sleep quality would be cut like in half, right?
Wow.
So as I started looking at data and actually measuring the impact of alcohol on my sleep quality, I was like, I just have to stop doing this. So you need to stop going out all the time, because you have to understand this as well. We're like, oh, making money online is so easy. Whenever you first start, you're facing a large obstacle. If you want to quit your job, if you want to become an entrepreneur, like, it is a large obstacle. It's going to take an immense amount of effort, and you have to do the same thing over and over again for a long time. And you have to understand that curve towards your success is exponential, right? So it gets faster and faster the longer you do the same things. But what people don't understand is that if you interrupt that pattern, you don't experience exponential growth and you reset yourself back down to zero. So think about this. Like, tell me how ridiculous this sounds, okay? I want to make a bunch of money online. I want to make $1 million. I want to control my destiny. I want to quit my job. Realistically, if I'm working a 9 to 5, I have 2 days a week to do this, right? So 52 weekends a year. So just over 100 days a year to actually pursue my dream and not have to live a shitty life that I don't want to live. Okay, I'm going to spend those 2 days doing the number one least productive thing that I could do that not only keeps me from pursuing my goals while I'm doing it, but puts me out of commission for 2 days afterwards, right? How fucking stupid does that sound, right? It's I just need to relax, right? Like, okay, that's your decision, right? Like, and only you have to deal with the consequences of that decision when you're not where you want to be 5 to 10 years from now, right? And I'm not suggesting that it's impossible to drink or smoke or consume substances and be rich, right? And speaking of Hormozy, he talks about this all the time. He's like, success doesn't care, right? Like, I know people that, and I do too, I know some closet stoners that you guys watch on YouTube that you have no idea smoke weed that are high every fucking time you hear them speak. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not
closet stoners.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that you can't consume substances and be successful. What I am suggesting is that if you are not where you want to be and you are looking around wondering why you're not moving as fast, perhaps you should try eliminating your vices and spending that time doing things that actually move you towards your goal, even if it's just for like 2 or 3 months, right? I didn't plan on like quitting drinking. I was like, oh, I'm just going to stop for a while. And then I made way more money that month than I made the last month.
So like, fuck this shit.
And I started seeing my bottom 2 abs. And I was like, oh, fuck, like this is great. And I just kept not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to cut out the bullshit food. You have to cut out the alcohol. You have to cut out the excuses for why you can't cut out the bullshit food and the alcohol. You need to prioritize your sleep. You need to literally, after this video, go Google Wim Hof breath work and learn how to do breath work. It's going to take you 3 minutes in the fucking morning, every single morning.
It's just the best.
It's going to completely revolutionize your ability to focus. It's going to teach you how to meditate. And you need to start prioritizing these things, right? Like, the bar is exceptionally low. The average person does none of these things. If you get up out of bed and all you have to do, dude, if you get up out of bed, as soon as your feet touch the ground, before you go piss, you do 5 push-ups, 5 lunges, and 10 seconds of plank. Good job. You just did more exercise than the average person does in a day. And you've been awake for 30 seconds.
Yeah, that person in a fucking week.
Yeah. And you've been awake for 30 seconds, right? Boom, instant win under my belt, right? And you just have to sort of like change the way that you think about life. So at a high level, dude, just understand that like everything the average person... It is not a coincidence that all of the normal things to do all keep you from being able to actually take control of your own destiny and live the life that you want to live, right? Like, these are systems that are designed at the highest level to make the average person an unproductive, lethargic, and pudgy motherfucker. Like, it just is what it is.
I think you're better at fucking motivational speaking than you are at crypto for now.
You know what I mean? Well, this is what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, no,
you're very fucking well spoken.
This is what I'm passionate about. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
No, you're right though. Like, you literally just go against the grain, because the grain is what fucking puts people down.
It's insane. It's like, okay, I want to be a part of the 1%. Okay, what does the 99% do? Okay,
don't do that.
Let's do the exact fucking opposite and see what happens, right? Yeah. They don't work out. Okay, we go to the gym. They think meditation is stupid bullshit. Okay, let's start meditating every day, right?
Yeah.
Like, they get drunk 3 times a week. Okay, let's stop drinking, right? They eat processed fast food every day. Okay, cool. Let's buy Whole Foods, just produce at our local grocery store, eat that instead, see what happens, right? And all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, all this shit that is literally free changed my life. Like, I didn't even do it on purpose. I just woke up one day and was like, I look totally different, I feel totally different, and I'm making more money than I was before. Why would I not share this with the world, right? And then I was like, I wonder if people would be interested in joining a mastermind dedicated to exploring these subjects for a few $1,000s. And then thousands of people were interested. Yeah. And then I was like, why was I telling myself that I wasn't capable of offering enough people value when these same people who I've spent the last 3 months with are telling me that I've changed their lives, right? And it's changed mine. You know what I mean? So this is what I was speaking to earlier in the podcast when I said that what I'm doing now is just like aligning my life purpose with my passion, with my business. And like you guys had Colin on the show, and I anticipate you probably had kind of a similar conversation to this one. Like, I surround myself with people who think the exact same way, right? Like, and that's another thing people need to understand. Like, your friends are not helping you get towards your goal. If you are hanging out, if you have 10 friends and you're not where you want to be, okay, cool, you need 10 new friends, right? Like, they aren't getting you towards your goal. And I know that sounds shitty. I know that sounds shallow, and you don't need to be rude to them, and you should never be condescending. You should treat the people with love and respect and try and uplift them. But the reality is, dude, that like you have to get yourself in bigger circles. There's a reason why Colin and Luke and all these guys and myself haven't spent so much money on our own personal education, right? Like why I buy courses all the time. Because why would I not want to learn from people who are making more money than me? Bro, people pay $60,000 a year to go to college.
Dude, 200 grand in fucking
for what?
4 years. Yeah, literally.
And I went, right? So I
did too. It's stupid. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous.
It's kind of crazy because like Colin had that fuck it, fuck you, I'm just gonna figure it out mentality. And I feel like once you figure out some of these stupid things, like where it's like, just don't drink. It's that simple. Like wake up in the morning and like do a little exercise. It's that simple. Then you're like, oh shit, I'm better than like the 99.9% of the goddamn people in this world.
Can I tell you something, dude? People will do everything except try it. Okay?
They'll talk about it. They'll read it. They'll watch it. They'll talk shit about it.
They'll talk shit about it, right? Like, oh, if it was that simple, if it was that simple, everyone could do it. No, not really, because no one fucking does it. Because you're gonna say that and then not do it. You've never tried, right? Anyone watching this video who is like, oh, this is so stupid. Like, oh, this is a scam. Like, I'm not gonna become a millionaire by exercising and cutting out alcohol. Okay, when was the last time that you went 90 days not drinking, heavily exercising every day and focusing on self-improvement? Never. So you can't tell me that, right? You've never fucking done it. And it changed my life. And I'm not trying to suggest that like, because people love revisionist history. People make a bunch of money and then they make up all these bullshit reasons of how they made money. So let me be very clear. I made my first $1 million on the internet being a piece of shit, but I almost lost all of it. So it's not about like being able to make money. It's about being able to consistently maintain over years and years, right? And if you want to be a high performing individual over long periods of time, you cannot do normal shit. Point blank period. I don't care what anyone says. You can't.
That's a short and a half right there.
Yeah.
That's going viral on fucking TikTok.
I'm curious to know your thoughts about just, so in general, I think all the time, like when you go get groceries, you have the cashiers, you know, when you go to the restaurant, you have the waiters, the waitresses. Some of them make great money, but the majority of people, they like, if there's a small percentage of the population that has to be successful or that wants to be successful, there's going to be a lot of people that aren't. So how does a world get designed in which everyone's like has not has a level playing field, because everyone does have a level playing field, but how does a world get designed to where like everyone wins? Like, I don't know if there can be.
It doesn't, right? But it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't, right? Like I'm not trying to architect a reality wherein every single person becomes a winner, because the reality is that like, first of all, I can't make that happen. Most people are lazy as fuck, right?
Yeah.
And I could have this conversation with every single human being on the planet, and most people watching this video are probably like annoyed by now. They're like, oh, fuck, whatever. So like, okay, cool. Like this isn't for you, right? But what I can speak to is the individuals who do want to pursue their purpose. And it might sound ironic as we talk about this, because like I have a team of people who work for me and I treat them very well. I treat them with respect. But here's the thing, like everyone who works for me, I have an unspoken agreement with that. Like, I don't want this to be forever for you, right? Like getting a job to learn skills and to make money to then parlay into eventually doing your own thing is the right path for 99% of people. It's what I did. Yeah. Right. So I think it's more so about like thinking of everybody along, you know, some point in that self-actualization journey. 99% of people just don't care enough to actually get there. But a small percentage of people do, you know, and those are the people to whom I'm speaking.
And no one's obligated to earn that right. They have to work for it.
Yeah. And if you don't want to, okay. Like if you think all this is bullshit, okay. Like, and if you are really happy living the exact life that I'm trying to avoid, I have nothing against you. I have no qualms. I don't think that you are stupid. I don't think that you are less than, and I am not judging you. I'm speaking only to the experience that I find fulfilling. And probably you guys, you know what I mean? And probably your audience.
Yeah. Most people watching are trying to figure that out in a sense, right?
Right.
It's like, or they have figured it out, but like I feel like a lot of people haven't figured it out fully, right? Where it's like you might have made a fuck ton of money. Actually, we're talking about this with another person. It's like the three things. It's like money, health, like wealth, health, and relationships, right?
Yeah.
So it's like either like what do you do first? Do you do the health first? Do you do the wealth first? Do you do the relationships first? Actually, I'm curious, which one, in what order are you going?
Do you think that it's like a linear process? Do you think that you should be doing all of them at all times?
Like, did you cut off all your friends when you started this whole journey, for example?
So I think it goes wealth than the other two, right? And I know that that sounds kind of stupid, and it doesn't have to be that way. That's how it went for me, right? As a matter of fact, if I could go back in time, I would try and do health then wealth. But the reality is that, like, for the vast majority of people, okay, cool. You think about like Pavlov's hierarchy of needs, okay?
No.
You have to sort of fulfill those baseline needs, all of which at the bottom of the pyramid are fulfilled by having money. And then you can focus on self-actualization. But the earlier that you can start prioritizing health too, the better, because you're just going to be you're going to have to come back in and fix these problems eventually, right? So the kind of inconvenient answer is that all three matter immensely. But of course, if you're in a position where you can only choose one, you're going to choose wealth, right? Like, I was working a full-time job and starting this new business. Of course, my health suffered. But the important part is that as soon as you get the bag, that you don't be a cocky piece of shit and you think like, okay, I can keep doing exactly what I'm doing. And that you understand that the clock is ticking for you to go back and tick these other boxes, or the thing is going to collapse, right?
You gotta flip that switch quick.
I cannot tell you how many guys I know that round tripped millions of dollars. How many people I saw go from broke to millionaire to broke again in less than a year.
Yep.
Right? Idiots. Well, not idiots, just unprepared.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was
well, and I think wealth is also of the three probably the most difficult to accumulate in a short period of time. So I think you could buy your health. You could buy your health.
Those motherfuckers that lost all their money, how did they lose all their money? I'm curious.
In a myriad of fashions.
A lot of it's drinking, is it not?
Buying shit they don't need to impress people they don't care about.
Let me tell you something, brother. There's a difference between being able to afford something and being able to afford something, right? So I could buy a couple of Lambos right now. I could buy 2 Rolls Royces right now. I can afford it, but I can't afford it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Like, you're gonna feel it in your fucking stomach after you bought that shit.
Yeah. Like, you could. There's a difference between you have the money and like I have the money, right? But the problem is, like, people are just irresponsible as fuck, right? We won't say names, but we were just talking about someone who told you that they blew $1 million last year, while they're making less than $100,000 a month. Like, what are you doing, bro? Yeah. And here's another thing that people don't understand is taxes, right? So if you're making $100,000,
you owe 30 to 40K right there.
If you're making $100,000 a month, no, you're not. You're making $63,000.
Exactly.
Before you spend anything on personal expenses, because your personal expenses aren't write-offs, right? So, okay, if I make $100,000 per month, okay, great. I can spend $40,000 on personal stuff. I still save 60% of my income. No, I didn't, because I'm paying another $40,000 in taxes. So just kidding. I'm left with 20% of what I made. Okay, cool. And then I buy a stupid car, or I buy a house, and all of a sudden I'm fucking broke again.
And then you owe money to fucking
and then you didn't do good tax accounting. And dude, I know people who made over $1 million who had to take out a loan to pay taxes. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. It's out of control. But I mean, that's you wouldn't.
That's just lack of education,
brother. Did you know that almost 10% of Americans are millionaires?
I didn't know that. That sounds hot.
Really?
That sounds
Google
high.
it right now.
Really?
Google it right now.
10% of Americans are millionaires.
What percentage of Americans have $1 million net worth?
A lot of them must be like older.
I think it's 8.5%. Being
older people and stuff
Google
like that.
Tell me what it says. Tell me what it says.
Of U.S. specifically.
Yeah, tell me.
Interesting. I thought it was like 3%.
8.8.
Wow.
8.8% of
motherfucker knew his numbers.
It's fucking 1 in like 12 people.
8.8% of Americans are millionaires.
22 million fucking millionaires.
Being a millionaire is not a flex, right? Like $10 million is a new
Well,
$1
it's true,
million.
because if you're like 70 years old and like you did okay in your life, you probably have at least $1 million somehow.
Let me speak as somebody who has felt broke with $1 million, right? Like, being a millionaire should not be your goal. I don't want to belittle anyone's accomplishments, but I want to set expectations for you guys, right? Like, you're going to make the $1 million and then you're going to be really disappointed because you're going to still not be able to do 90% of the shit that you dreamed about doing. Like, dude, if you make $1 million in e-com, okay, cool. You still can't even afford a condo in this building. This building's not even that nice. Like,
fucking hate this building.
You're broke.
Like you can't even, you know what I mean? The median home price in America right now, including like all of the shitty states, is like $700,000. Like, what are you gonna do with $1 million, right? And that was a shitty realization for me, because when I made $1 million, I was like, this is sick. And then I was like, well, wait, I owe $400,000 in taxes, and I was like, okay, I have $600K. And I was like, what can I buy with $600K? And then I was like, well, okay, what if I bought the Rolls Royce we just talked about? Now I have $100,000.
Then I got a stupid.
Okay, I could have made that in 2 years of my old job.
Yeah.
So you'd be surprised how easy it is to fuck off $1 million, dude. I think Wes Watson is spending. Dude, he has to be spending upwards of a fucking $1 million a month right now.
Yeah.
On what shit?
It's lifestyle.
Dude, he has like 50 cars. I think his rent is over $100,000 on, like, it's crazy. But I mean, that makes him a lot of money. Wes Watson is doing like over $3 million a month profit right
Wow.
now
Yeah.
with the coaching program.
Yeah.
So that's total non sequitur. But yeah, dude, like, $1 million is not what it used to be.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Well, it's the thing. Even our parents, they were buying houses for like 200 grand, 250.
Not even.
Dude, the house I grew up in was $100,000.
And probably what's it worth now?
At least
probably
probably
6.
Yeah, at least probably 5 or 6.
So you're like 6x.
It's in Tulsa. That shit's probably actually like only worth like 200, 300.
But regardless, it's still
Yeah.
worth a lot more than like where your parents fucking bought it for.
Exactly.
Especially
And you
from
can't buy a house for
percentage
100 grand right
perspective.
now.
No,
It's
it's
like-
crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, your dollar lost almost 10% of its spending
That's
power
why you gotta
last year.
fucking buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Like, all I need to do is make $5 million, then I'll put it in a 5% account. I'll live off $200,000 a year. Okay, what if that 5% is less than inflation and you're still losing money every year? Okay, all you need to make is $5 million. No, like,
You're fucked.
the game is endless, and it kind of sucks. Like,
It does.
I don't want to think about money all of the time, but they've paywalled everything, dude. Like, you literally can't even go see, dude. Like, how much? Okay, this is a good example. How much does it cost to go on an expedition on Mount Everest? Do you know? I think it's like $10,000 or $20,000.
Really?
Actually.
Wow.
So they just. So that's a good example. They just took the tallest mountain in the world. Okay, do you want to see it? Okay, you have to be rich. It's literally just like it's a big rock.
So you have to spend 20 grand. Like you can't go up there for free.
Yeah, I don't know how much it is, but I'm just saying, like, okay, if you literally just want to see the planet,
You have to spend.
You have to have money.
That's true.
to
Yeah.
live, you have to have money, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's only going to get more expensive. So
You're right. The whole world's a paywall.
So-
Literally everything's
Yeah.
they
paywall.
just paywalled everything, and I feel bad because, like, whenever I walk around in this city, and dude, by no means have I like hit escape velocity. I still need to make a lot more money, and I plan on. That's why I'm spending so much time building these businesses and trying to provide value to people. But like, I'm doing a lot better than I would be if I was working like a regular job or something. And I walk around in this city, and I'm like, dude, regular people are fucked. Like, how is it even possible? Like, if we go downstairs right now and I buy a coconut, it's $12 for a coconut. Like,
Coconut.
I went and got an acai. No, not an acai bowl. I went and got an omelet this morning, and it was like $32. Like,
Damn, what kind of omelets you fucking get?
bro, go to Pura Vida down the street. The two of you,
Yeah.
if you go, it's $100.
No,
Yeah,
we
it's
know. We just
nuts.
had lunch for $105.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
hell?
So the game is rigged against the average person, dude. Let me tell you something else, and then sorry, I know what time is it?
I don't know. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
It's 2:50.
Oh yeah.
He's like, fuck. I got too excited.
No, you're good. So I'm moving into. I'm not gonna dox the location, but you can see it out the window. I'm moving into that building right there. It's not like a crazy apartment. It's like $6,000 a month for a 2-bedroom, which in Brickell is
Brickell's expensive.
is
Yeah.
normal. Okay, cool. If you are a W-2 employee, then in order to qualify, you have to submit 3 pay stubs totaling 3 extra monthly rent. They don't want your they don't want your rent to be more than 33% of your monthly salary, which given the average person's, responsibility level makes sense, right? Okay, cool. So I would have had to have like almost a $20,000 salary, okay, which is high.
That's high with like
but
an
if
average
I was
job.
like a software developer or something,
you can figure it out.
yeah. Okay, cool. Like so people with good jobs live there. Because I'm a business owner, in order to be allowed to live at that building, $6,000 per month, I had to show them proof of liquid assets totaling 120 times my monthly rent.
120 times your monthly rent.
What?
To be allowed to live in a $6,000 per month apartment,
So like
because
700,
I'm a business
700
owner,
grand in cash.
I had to show them 700 grand in cash to get a fucking apartment.
That's nuts.
So this game is rigged in every single way against you if you do anything other than be the worker bee.
A fucking NPC.
They make it as hard as possible. All of the food that they fucking shove down your throat from the time that you are a little kid.
Microplastics. I'm learning.
Bro, you guys probably grew up believing that breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Yeah.
Beautiful marketing psyop by fucking Harvey Kellogg, bro. Like it's literally just a master a master class in marketing, right? That is not true. So there's just so much. There's so many things designed to make it as hard as possible for you to be able to exercise freedom over your own life. And I don't take for granted the amazing freedoms that we have access to living in a country like this, right? And especially given the atrocities that are occurring on a global scale right now and the amount of innocent lives that are being taken overseas by conflicts that have nothing to do with the innocent lives of children that are being taken on a daily basis. I don't want to sound insensitive. I understand just how privileged that I was to wake up this morning, okay?
Yeah.
But if we are talking about, the sort of larger self-actualization goals and what we're talking about today, wanting to exercise freedom over my own life, over my own finances, right? Understand that the game is set up in a way to make it as hard for you to do that as possible. At every single turn, they're going to shave off as much of that money as possible and use it on things that do not benefit you in any way. And you're going to be hit over the head every single day with challenges that are going to feel at times insurmountable. For that reason, you need to take self-development and you need to take making money very seriously, right? If you don't, you are the one who has to deal with that consequence. But I want everybody who watches this video to position themselves and their future generations as well as possible, because it's not going to get any easier. And
dude, God bless America.
Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Oh my God. Anyways, fuck.
Sheesh.
Well-spoken motherfucker. You like a preacher or something in your last life.
I could tell you were in the music space. You're probably fucking rapping, following along to Eminem.
Anyway, I know you gotta hop off.
Yeah, it's all good.
What the fuck? Do you want to plug anything?
Keep in mind this is gonna come out in like December, so whatever you have launched will probably
be out by then.
Yeah, no, it's number. We don't have to plug super heavy. Obviously, my on every socials, it's at Champ T Graham. If you want to, work directly with me and a cohort of people pursuing, all the type of stuff I just talked about on this podcast, you can DM me on Instagram. I put out a free weekly newsletter, publish newsletters 3 times a week, just talking about my story and things that I think can help the average person be better. And there's no like bullshit catch to it. I just send them out for free. Yeah. And dude, if I do everything that I'm supposed to be doing over the next couple months, by the time this comes out, you should have seen me anyway. So
we're gonna rip a 2.0 in New York. With you.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Nah, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Anyways, catch you guys on the next one. Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, guys.
Later. See you in the next one.
Yeah.